Hey, yeah, YouTubers, Tasman here, bringing you another episode of Fantasy Grounds Unity from the ground up. And in the last episode, we talked about how I like to get a new adventure ready to go, and we also got into creating slots for them, basically creating our groups for all our different components, and then we got into the maps because this is probably one of the cooler features that everyone has been waiting for to come to Fantasy Grounds. So we're going to go into even more of the maps. And normally I probably wouldn't necessarily do the maps at this point. I'd probably almost wait almost to the end so I actually understand a little bit more about these areas that I'm looking at. You know, what kind of thing is it? We're going to make it up as we go here. So in the last episode, we talked about the layers, which is this icon right here, and we talked about how we can add different layers for our main layers thing. The one thing I didn't talk about is these guys. So remember we said that, yeah, you can click on these to rotate it. These are horizontal and vertical mirror or flipping of the object. This little magnet looking icon is the one that makes it so if it's unchecked, then it will no longer snap to the grid, which is interesting because we actually don't have a grid yet. We haven't got to that part. We might want to go do that first as I'm thinking about it. So if we go in here, we can click on grid, and this will automatically create a grid for us. And all you have to do is, you can choose the type of grid, how bright it is, what color it is, and then the size of the grid. So if we click on this, I believe that's all we have to do, right? Do we have to click? I don't, either we nailed the grid or it hasn't drawn it yet. And I'm not sure why it hasn't drawn it. Oh, there it is. It's visibility. We need the grid visibility on. Okay, so what you want to do is basically you want to make a grid that lines up to, if there's already an existing grid, which can be a pain, you want to line it up to that. I think, if I remember right, this is close to like 23. Let's just go ahead and see if that lines up. Oh no, these are way bigger than 23. It might be the other one's 23. Let's try 40. Do that. 40 seems like it might be good. Let's go ahead and move it down. And then maybe over. Ooh, I think that might be it. Yeah, as we zoom it out, we see that it's not creating, a little off. So I think that is the size we want. So in this case, it's 40. And what that means is there's basically 40 pixels from one grid line to the next grid line in both directions. If you have an off-size grid, you can always unlock the aspect so that it unlocks it. And that's same with the layers. There's the option to unlock it. You can turn off the grid. So in this case, like, if it already had a kind of dark grid, it might look kind of ugly to have your grid showing. So you could actually turn it off, and then because we have that all lined up, it's still going to use that grid and still snap things to it. So depending on what the background already looks like, I like to actually change the grid. Once again, depending on the map you're doing, like I know if you went to did Lost Mines of Phandelver, if you're looking at the Sword Coast, it actually has the hexagonal grid. Actually, I guess that's more hexagonal than this one. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's 6. Maybe a diagonal hexagonal? I don't know what you'd call it, because this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's 6 also. Or, you have diamonds, depending on the map type. Usually you're looking at the square. You can also change the color of your grid. So let's say we wanted to make it, maybe a nice teal color. You'll actually be able to change that. You can't quite see it because of the other things going on here. You can see red here. So you can change the color of the grid. I don't know if you have to change. There we go. I think that did it. So now if we zoom in, you can see it's actually till. Looks like we're still a little bit off. Let's go ahead and do that. And I think that, oh yes. So this gives a nice feeling of maybe being on grid paper. So you could do that, or like I said, you could turn it off once you have the actual grid lined up. That means all your pieces will also line up. So that's grid. Let's go ahead and move on to the painting. So painting, you can create paint layers, additional paint layers. You can drop items in here. So right now when we do paint, if we draw a line, you'll see it actually kind of, you can click here and draw here and then here and then here, you know, so you can draw it by clicking, and then to stop drawing, you just hit escape. So here you can see we've drawn, you know, kind of, we have free form draw. You can also change the color. You can also draw with your different assets, like the tokens in this case that I was using, or I believe you could use portraits or whatever else. You just simply drag that onto this little box. So let's go ahead and we will delete this painting. And let's draw maybe with blade barrier. That might be kind of cool. So if we do this, now when we draw, you'll actually see it's drawing with blade barrier. And you'll notice that, see how there's this little corner down here that would be uneven? When I click on the new line, you'll actually see it kind of curved it, or, you know, made it so it's smooth. So if we keep going in here, and to something like that, and then hit escape. So if we zoom in, you can actually see we just made boatloads of blades. And you can see that, like I said, it fills in those corners so they're not bad or anything like that. So you have those options. This is image paint because we're painting with the image. This is just painting with the little circle here. I thought, do you change the size right here? I think you change the size right here. So if we want to say 2, there you go. So now it's 2 by 2 with an angle maybe of 15. Does it not have an angle of 15? 15. No, it doesn't like 15. I don't know about the angle. So, oh, it looks like it does 90 degrees. So here you can see when you draw, you can see what you're drawing, and you can see if I click here, draw here, draw here. Notice right here there would be an ugly space like that. It tries filling that in for you. Alright, so we've made a really ugly thing here. I'm going to go ahead and hit escape to get rid of it, and we'll go ahead and get rid of this. So you once again have the option of flipping it. You have the option of rotating it, I guess, in 90-degree increments. You can reset this by clicking there, and then it's nice and small, 1 by 1. You can change the color as we did before. The next thing we have is effects. And effects, when you first come in here, you might not think it's working properly, and this isn't a really good map to do the effects on, but maybe you'll be able to see it with the wood right here. So the effects right now, at least, I imagine later on they might make it so it's more shaped where you can actually change it, but as far as it goes, I don't think you can do that right now. But here you can see we have rain, snow, water, mist, blizzard, parchment, we have sepia, ocean, grayscale, and night vision. So if you come in here and let's say you click water, you actually don't see anything really happen. And a lot of people might think, oh wait, effects aren't working. They are working, but all you have to do is create an effects layer first. And now if we do this, then now you'll see we have an effects layer. We can apply our effect to that layer. So now if I do, say, water, now the entire thing looks like it's, you know, got a rippling water effect to it. Or we could, you know, make it so it's raining, and if you look close you can see the rain dripping on things. It might look like it's actually hitting these specifically, but it's actually not. It doesn't know what any of the graphics in here are. It's kind of more by chance that it's actually doing it the way you're seeing it. So you can choose whatever effect you want, you know, make it snow, you get a nice blizzard effect going. Well, I guess blizzard actually has its own effect. So there you go. You got some mist coming in as well. There's even actual mist, you know, the nice mist. There's not a lot of functionality with this yet as far as how do I change the direction? Can I actually make it, you know, like, for example, if I have running water, like an ocean here at the bottom, you can see it kind of waving in places here and there. This would be good like if I had a little river, but if it's only going to be good if I can actually lock it down to where that actual river is, so that, you know, the blue behind it kind of actually looks like the water is flowing. As far as I know, there isn't a way to control that just yet. I'm sure it's coming. In other words, they wouldn't have this cool layer right here. So this might be kind of a thing that people don't necessarily know as much about. Let's do water again. You'll see also well, obviously you'll be able to see it on the player screen as well. Alright, so let's go ahead. We'll just set this back to none, and we'll even delete this layer. I don't want to hide it. I imagine if that's running, it's using some kind of resource to keep it running, so I don't want to do that. Alright, and now the moment we've all been waiting for. Masks. Masks work just like they did before. I want to hurry and do this because we're going to spend some time on the walls. So masks work just like they did before. You can set it to reveal area, hide area. So if you're actually masking your whole thing, and we say here we want to enable mask. So now this whole thing is masked, and if we go look at the player screen, it's pure black. This is the way you used to do line of sight. And then if you wanted to change that in the older version, it was all different buttons and stuff, but then you could, you know, click on an area and say, okay, you see this room, and you just draw a rectangle in there, and boom. You could also have the option of, say, I want to be more specific and maybe only show this fireplace. So if I hold shift, no, it wasn't, that's not shift. Is it control? Maybe it doesn't do this yet. You used to be able to, well, you can do it with the hide the mask. You can do it with Alt to, well, I guess that unhid it. That's kind of weird. Oh, I guess it's because you actually have a button. It used to be that if you held shift, you would actually unhide, but you'd be able to control the area. Then if you held Alt and dragged a thing like, you know, a big square, it would actually hide the area. So now if we switch to this, we can do hide area and do that. And if we hold the Alt key while we do that, we could, you know, draw it around the fire pit. And if we go look at the player screen, it's going to look pretty ugly, but you kind of get the idea. And the players could see their own tokens. If we put their tokens out there, even though they're behind the mask, or at least it used to be this way. Actually, I don't want that one. We want the combat tracker. So, for example, it used to be that if we had Mercy, and I'm just going to put a skeleton in here as well. We'll make sure he's invisible for now. So, let's see if this is the same. So, yeah, you can still see the person. They can move anywhere on the board without any issue. And unless you, of course, I think they changed, you can't lock tokens anymore, can you? Let's see, right click, stop sharing, drawing, unlock drawing, edit. Yeah, I don't think, it used to be where you could right click on them and you could lock the token, which meant that players could move, but it would just draw a line of where they want to move. So this is the old way of doing it, and there might be reasons that you still want to turn on a mask, like maybe areas that are completely, you're never going to see this area. You might turn on the mask. If we get rid of the mask, you'll see that everything is clear. Our little skeleton here is still going to be invisible because we have them set to visible. What we want to do with our skeleton, so as you can see, he's right there. Let's go and move our little player right here because we're going to want them. So let's start playing with the line of sight stuff. So in line of sight, you have a couple options. You have a wall, and a wall, not only does it make it so light doesn't travel through it, you can't travel through it. As a player, you can't use the mouse keys, the arrows. Well, I can't do it there anyway because I'm in the wrong mode. But if I go over here and I click on the character, there we go. You can see I can move freely using my arrow keys. And I think if I use the numpad, if I undo numlock, I can also do diagonals. So this is kind of neat, but a wall, if I place a wall, you can't actually go through a wall, which is really nice. So let's add a wall real quick. So we're going to be in add mode. We have line, we have rectangle, and we have ellipse. Because what I'm drawing here, I just want a rectangle, I'm just going to put a wall right here, and you'll see it gives us this red line, and this makes it so the character cannot actually go through. Now I'm assuming these are like picnic tables. They're a little big to be like benches, so I'm imagining that maybe these are tables or something. But if we go into here now to our user here and we try and move through, oh, I haven't enabled it yet, hold on. If we go in here and go back to play mode and enable it, now you see everything turns gray. If we come in here, you'll actually see that this is now casting light. And as a player, I'm hitting over, I cannot get through this because it is considered a wall. I can come all the way around it, and you can see the light actually switches as I go. So we're going to outline this entire thing with wall components. Now, there's a couple tricky things, like for example with the circle. Let's go ahead, we'll go out of play mode, so disable line of sight. We come back in here. So technically what we want to do when we do this is we probably want to create a layer for our walls and stuff. And we can, let's just delete this layer. Let's hit delete, I believe. Delete, delete, and delete. So we're going to create a layer so that if we mess up, we don't have to go through every single little node and change it. The other thing we have, and this is what I more imagine these guys being, is these picnic tables. Is maybe they're considered more of an obstacle or terrain, something that blocks vision, but worst comes to worst, you could actually get over it. So we're going to select terrain, and once again, it's kind of weird the way the terrain one works, because whether you choose line or rectangle or whatever, it still draws a rectangle. I don't know if you can see it because let's zoom in, maybe you can see it there. You can't really see it with this right now, but you can kind of see that even though we're drawing this, it's got a line right there. So now if we click on that, now this is, if we hit escape, now we have our line. So this is a different type of line. Terrain blocks the view, however, you're able to go through it. And when you're inside of it, you can actually see more. And the other thing you also can do with terrain is it kind of acts like a door. So here you can actually see, you can see inside of it. When we go inside the terrain here, oops, click on you. You'll actually see when we're inside of it, actually, you basically can see everything, which is kind of weird. But when you're outside of it, you actually have the obscurity. So this would be like, this is a box and it's blocking the view of things here. So if we had our skeleton, let's get another skeleton maybe. It's kind of hard to explain all this. We're at 20 minutes, so we kind of gotta hurry. All right, so let's take our skeletons for example here, and we will put him right here. So you'll notice right now it's showing his line of sight because we have him selected. Right here it shows her line of sight. You'll notice that if we bring her around, oh, we don't have him set yet. If we right click on the skeleton and we can set visibility, and we want to set it to mask sensitivity visibility. This will actually make it so he appears when you're actually able to see him. So right now you can't see him. Let's go back over to the player because I think it'll be kind of cooler. So here you can't see him because he's kind of hiding behind this box. If we click on the guy, if we come around the corner, all of a sudden now we see a skeleton. If we move out of his sight, once again you see he does disappear. So we can't see him behind that wall. So that's what the mask sensitivity, visible sensitivity, whatever it was called, was. And that is kind of our next component. There is the terrain is what it's called, I believe. So if we turn back off that and then go back into our walls. So that's our terrain. This is walls. Next thing we have is door. Now another thing I was going to mention is when we're in play mode, as the DM, I can actually, so like if this is say a small hill or stairs or something, and the player comes up to it, I can say, okay, now they're close enough, I can open it. And you'll notice, you can't really see that, but it says closed, and now it says open. So now they can see right through it as if they come up the ramp, and now they can see what's on this side of it, where now it's closed. However, once again, if they get on the stairs, it actually acts as if it is, already open. So now, speaking of opening and closing, let's play with a door. So let's go ahead and turn this back off and go back into this mode. So next we have is doors. And a door is just like a wall. You just click. Did I not click an item? There we go. So we could even just click a rectangle. So let's just put a door right here. I'm not sure why it doesn't show you very good what you're clicking on, the actual lines and stuff. So a door is just like the terrain when you open and close it. Like if, oops, let's go ahead and undo that. Control Z. So if we come back over here, I'm in wrong mode again. Let's go back over to our player screen. Oh, whoops, we're getting lots of oopses in. We have to go back here, play, and turn on line of sight. So if we do that, now you'll see we have a door. Now obviously, because we don't have walls, we're not seeing a lot, but we can actually open the door just like we could the other one, and now you can't really tell a difference, but we can also close the door. There's also secret, which is a door, but it's doing its best to hide the fact that it's a door. For example, if we wanted to pretend that there was a secret door back here, let's go ahead and turn that off and then go back into wall mode. So we can do secret, which is over here. We can actually, for example, add a secret, and we'll just do a square. I want to see if I get close enough, maybe. Let's add a secret, right? Nope, see, can't see it. So the secret is drawn by a dashed line. Doors were drawn by a blue line. Terrain is a green line, and walls will be a red line. So here we have some here we have some a secret door. So if we were to make this actually look a little more realistic, what we would want to do is maybe add some wall to this. So we could say, you know, from here to here to here, maybe to here to here, and then hit escape, and then maybe do here to here to here to here to here, and escape. So these are going to make some walls that they can't see through, they can't pass through, and as far as they know, this is going to look just like another room. So if we zoom out, oops, Control Z, sometimes you forget how to move. If we move, I don't think I can do that right now because I'm in the wrong mode. So now we can move our character up here. And when we turn on this mode, you'll see that it actually is going to be completely blocked for them. So if we come up here, you can see there's a block here. If we come around, you know, they wouldn't be able to see that there's actually a secret there. However, the DM can say, okay, well, you search this wall and you find a small lever, and then the DM can go here and open the door, and now our player is able to see in there, and when they go through, you'll see the line of sight and everything changes everywhere else. We're seeing this because this is a shut door. They're not seeing right there. And so anyway, this is a real quick example of a map. Now I want to show you the map I actually did, just to give you an idea of what you can do, or what I did. And what we'll do is, wrong one, let's go ahead. Oh, this is the player screen. I'm like, why is that not showing anything? No, I lost it forever. So we can go ahead and close this map. Let's go ahead and go down to the White Well, and we will see that I have a Nomberger Hall, whatever it was called. And here you can see I have some little mobs that I've set up. You can see these are set up as the whatchamacallits, the terrain. Right here you can see I have doors. Or we could even say these are windows with shutters on them, or drapes, or whatever. And then here's a door here. Then I have another secret door I actually have right here. And then of course the whole building here is red. So if we go look at the which one is it? This one. And of course I did it all on the same layer, which was probably a mistake, but that's okay. So if you look here, you can actually see what I did. So I kind of traced around using the line tool to get this whole thing. I added a secret here, added doors here. And now if we go add our character in here, Mercy. Actually, I have to do it from the combat tracker. I keep forgetting, and that's probably going to duplicate her. There we go. So if we go back into the combat tracker, we can grab Mercy, put her down here, and we can go ahead and say play this, and we can share. So let's go ahead and share the sheet. Now, another thing you can do, for example, once Mercy's chosen here, and is this, yep, this is the new one. So as you can see here, we're getting lots of shadows cast from all the little tables as we move Mercy around. And I don't remember if I actually set the mobs to be show upon finding. So here you can see there's a door. Now the door is currently closed, so I cannot go through it. These windows are also closed, so I cannot go through those. And I can't go through the wall, as you can see. However, I can go inside these benches, and once I'm inside of it, I'm able to see everything that that bench can see. But it doesn't actually unlock other benches, you know, it's not like a universal key. So if we bring Mercy here, and then the DM says, okay, so you open the door, what we would do is doop, doop, like this. We come in here and we say, okay, you open the door, and boom, now it's open. So now Mercy can come inside. And you'll see that as long as I had a space for her to fit through, she can actually fit through. It doesn't have to be the actual size of the token. Now right here, obviously we can see that there is a door there. But if it were the wall like we had before, then you wouldn't be able to see that. So what we would do is, once again, she'd come up to this wall and say this wall looks suspicious or whatever, and she'd want to open the door there. So you'd roll, they disarm the, open the secret door, whatever, and she can now go inside that room. Now I might not be able to move her inside that room without going middle square there, because this one's blocked and this one's blocked, so we actually have to go middle. But there you can see now she's inside that room, and whatever's in there is in there. So this is the line of sight. Hopefully that helps you understand it. The other thing you can do is, now you can see she's actually seen everything. There's no surprises anymore. Oh, she got stuck. There's really no surprises as to what is where. You can always go and reset that if you want. So if you come back into the main one here, you can, I believe you can reset it by, I'm trying to remember where it was. Is it in layers? Disable shortcut, snap to grid, enable mask. No, I know you can do it in here, but I thought you could also do it here. I can't remember. Stop sharing view, maybe? Reset zoom, zoom to fit, sync client. I know I saw it somewhere. Drawing, no. Maybe I actually just come in here, and if you click on that and back off, is that what it was? Yes. So if you go out of play mode and back in, it will actually do that. This little guy right here is just showing shortcuts. Like if I had a link to an encounter, for example, if we went down to the white well and said here's approaching this one. So for example, I can now click on that, and now I can see what the encounter is, and then I could always say, oh, don't show those right now to me. As long as this is red, it's not being shared to the players, which means it's not actually shared. They can't click on it and they can't even see it. So here, I'm going to move this right in front of her just so there's no question about it. But if we go to her view, see, she cannot see it because it is not shared. I do have the option of clicking on that, and then I can actually say make the link shareable, make all links if there's multiple on this page. And now you'll see it's green, and you'll also see that she can see it. Now I don't think she can actually load the encounter or pull it up because that's all DM type stuff. But if I had notes that were attached to this and I wanted them to see a note or an image or something along those lines, then I could do that, and then they could click on this. Like if there's a mural on the wall, I could say, yep, click that, and boom, there's the mural. I'll show you real quick what that would be like. So if we unshare this guy, make link private again, make these links great again. So if we came into, say, maps here, and maybe we'll say, this is a wall, we could actually say that there is, let's say, the great fight. We could say there was the great fight right here. So we could do this, make it shareable, and that way when the one thing I'm not sure is it visible even if, let's switch this off and back on and see if that pin is visible or invisible right now. So it is visible. So what you'd want to do is leave it invisible or unshared until the character gets to, close enough. Then what they could do is they could say, oh, so there's a mural right here. They click on that, and maybe it doesn't work. But generally what it'll do it's not working right now, is they would be able to click on that and it would pull up the image associated with it. And then they can close that. Man, my throat is itchy. So, let's see. I believe that pretty much covers this. This is all about the target selection, token selection. This is for selecting tokens. So if we want to select that token, we do that. You can also just do that by clicking on the token. You also notice these guys were also set to invisible until they're actually seen. So she can't see them. Let's see. We have the drawing, target selection, token selection, erase drawing. So if you want to draw on your map, you know, like say this is a fire or whatever, when you're done and you don't want that anymore, you can just, oh, it used to be you just draw a thing around it and then it erases. That's a little different. And I think that kind of does default play. I think that does all these different things. You can also check, you know, views that people can see by clicking on the token. And this should not affect, you know, the actual player's map. So because they're not that token, you know, if I want to say, oh, do they see her? If we go into the player's view, you can see that it's not actually showing that. I mean, she sees it, but she does not see that player or that token. All right, I think that pretty much covers the maps in a 101 type format. Hopefully you understand. It is a little complex. I will definitely agree with that. But I think it's along the right tracks. It looks like it's going to be really cool. So let's go ahead, now that we've got that, let's and stop sharing it. Let's go ahead and we will call it here for this episode. In the next episode, we will start actually working on our story for this adventure. And I'll just show you some things that I do personally. And it's completely optional. You do what you want. You do you. I'll do me. So I don't think we'll need this guy anymore. So that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you learned something new. We went over a whole lot. Hopefully your brain doesn't hurt too bad. But hopefully you did learn and understand some of the things. If you have any questions, feel free to leave comments down below. I'll be more than happy to help you with what I know. And if I don't know it, I will go out of my way to research it and see if I can figure it out. But as I always say, comment, like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, check out my Discord and my other channels. Don't forget about my great big game giveaway. When I hit 1,000 subs, I'm giving away 57 Steam games. That averages out to be 1 out of every 20 subs will get a game. Plus, I'm giving away a free copy of Fantasy Grounds Standard. Note that is Standard, not Unity. And it's the classic version. That's where I should have said not Unity. But that should be pretty cool as well. And that's it. Oh, and I always forget, if you want to be notified when I post new videos, click the little notification bell or whatever it's called, so you'll be notified, because just being a subscriber to a channel doesn't always let you know. And that's it for sure this time. Until next time, I'll be seeing you later. Bye.